Hi there, my name is Mervyn Linford. I'd like to read a few poems from a collection of mine published by Micah Press of Wivenhoe in 2017. The first poem I'd like to read is the title poem, Credo. Here the tide is immediate. It ebbs and flows uncannily, swamps or is high and dry before the mind can register its meanings. A redshank holds my eye, and I perceive the ooze that once was water as my dominion. These phases of the moon and all that changes, that alters with its neaps and springs and slacks, defines, I think, my temporal derangement and all that's lunar. The geese are loud and black, and where they fly in loose unwritten lines across the silent silver of the flats, there lies my madness. I am a child of this place, a wader without wings, a mullet with warm lungs, a whistling featherless widgeon. A curlew flutes its isolate amen, and I must choose between the sane horizons and these religious literals of light that fuel my fervour. The next poem I'd like to read is called Encoat. Why do I sit here alone, looking at the sea? I have you, I love, and a few friends, and yet I need this space, this solitude. I like the idea of horizons, something beyond, uncertainty, a world without the facts. Emptiness is where it starts, wide vistas, distances, blue sky and blue sea, touching each other's void, failing to communicate. A black-headed gull, like the beginnings of form, worries the width of summer with a word. The gift, if that's the term, for such as language. Perhaps if I stay here long enough, after the sun has set beneath the stars, my love of isolation and the darkness will pass infinity. Until then, the moon and I must muse on our dual insanity, and she, if she it is, beneath the tide, will shine at depth like some unwritten poem, beautiful but fathomless. One of my favourite islands off of the Essex coast is Mersey Island, and this is a poem about one particular day when I was watching a group of black-tailed godwits. Black-tailed godwits, Mersey Island. Three black-tailed godwits, standing at the tide's full edge. One on one leg, head tucked in beneath a wing, snoozes. The others, busier with worms and mollusks, and all such things secreted in the ooze beneath their feet, are almost black. Silhouetted in the heat of late September, and the sunshot glittering shatter of the sea in smithereens. Bladderwrack and eelgrass seep into the senses with the smell of oyster smacks and cockle spits and brine. And early, but expected from the east, the darkening skeins of those dark-bellied geese who write their cursive script across a sky as wide as winter. After living in Essex for some 60 years, I moved to Suffolk. I now live just outside the village of Lavenham. If you go into the Guildhall of Corpus Christi, you can see the history of cloth manufacture in North Essex and Suffolk. And hanging from the rafters are bunches of teasels. These were used to nap the cloth. Teasels, Long Melford. The teasels have outgrown the bulrushes. Nearly as tall as a man, they stand their prickly ground between the river and the water meadows. A charm of goldfinches. How apt. Defy this apparent barbarity to feed and tintinnabulate like tiny bells. I'm on tenterhooks as I think about the past. The wealth acquired through sheep and wool, as these latter-day survivors of a craft nap our November skies. Long Melford Church, more cathedral than parish focal point, stares out across the corduroy of the fields newly ploughed. Lavenham blues, cosy cloth, linsey woolsey. The green bays of the water meadows waits in trepidation for the floods, the winter spates, while the warp and weft of pheasants, rooks and fieldfares weave their autumn tapestry of sound with faded threads. I'll finish with a poem called Essex Skippers. Essex is famous for many things, but not many people know it's famous for having a butterfly named after the county, an Essex skipper. Essex Skippers. Trying to remember now those fields where as a child I stared into the sky amongst the flowers is never easy. I can see in my mind's eye the vetches and the willow herb and poppies, but time has taken something from the light that was my vision. I cannot see or feel such fleeting things as burnet moths or lizards or the wings of Essex skippers. Images, it seems, are not enough. I need the actual touch that words can't bring, of butterflies between the cupping hands, whose gentle tickling beat is like a heart that leaves behind a powder and the mark of all ephemera. Thank you very much.